Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video on how to buy materials. Buying materials is a foundational function of any business. Sourcing materials is just something you gotta do. If you don't buy materials, you can't supply your product. So, how to buy the basics. Like I've said this before, I'll say it again. These videos are all very basic. They're for beginners. They're not for advanced people. If you want to watch this and you're advanced, have at it. But these are basic videos on the basics of buying materials. And this is going to go across any home improvement, handyman, small business type of stuff. You can apply these lessons to other businesses and that type of thing. The foundation really applies across the board, but we're speaking to home improvement and handyman type businesses on the smaller scale. So first off, you're going to start off at the box stores. And the reason why you need to start off at the box stores is the box stores have everything in front of you. The first thing that you need to learn about yourself is you don't know everything. And there's a lot that you can learn. The box stores don't do everything right. In fact, they don't do a lot of stuff right. But you can see everything in front of you. You can get familiar with the materials if you're not already familiar with the materials. You're going to start off with the box stores, learn the products that you need, and then graduate to the next level. And the next level really is to ditch the box stores. Box stores are just not good for business overall. So you need to specialize your business. Figure out what it is you're going to do. If you want to make money in this business, you need to figure out one thing that makes you money and push that one thing. I'm not saying don't do other things, but if you could advertise on Facebook that you do TV mounting and you can source TV mounts for maybe $20 a piece, and you can install them at $120 a piece. And you can go in, you can go out, and no cables in the wall or anything. You just putting the TV on the wall. You can go in, you can make $100 a pop. You could push that advertising. There's just push, 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 push. Those people will always call you back to do other things. But you specialize your business, push that one thing, and just push, push, push that one thing. And what you're doing is you're creating a focus for your customers and for yourself where you actually make money, and a thing that you do quickly and efficiently and maximize your profit. And what you want to do is, as you have that one thing and you do other things, like I said, the customer's going to call you back when their sink clogs up. That's what they're going to do. And so you can use that specialization to also do other things and to obtain customers. So you want to specialize your business, and what that's also going to help you do is learn how to deal with specialty stores. So you need to first of all find out where your specialty stores are and what you have in your area. Depending on your area, box store might be your only option. For me, I have box stores, I have plumbing supply stores. I really do not have electrical supply stores. We have lumber yards. We have different things that we do. For me, drywall. If I'm doing a drywall job that's big enough, I'm buying from a specialty drywall supply house. They're gonna bring it right to the job. I don't have to move the material. They bring it right. They deliver it right there. I can get the biggest sheets and not have to worry about getting them on my truck and moving them and all that kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about the weather on delivery day. None of that. And I can get the drywall super cheap, way, way cheaper than at any box store, trust me. So my material cost for doing drywall is well below 40 cents a square foot for doing drywall, because I don't buy it at the box store. If I need one sheet of drywall, yeah, I'm going to go to the box store and grab one sheet of drywall. It's not worth me driving 40 minutes or paying a delivery fee of $75 to get one sheet of drywall. So there's a little caveat to that. But the first thing you need to do is find out what your specialty stores are, whether it's plumbing, electrical, who out there is doing what, and what are your options, and get those ironed out. They may want to just deliver to you My plumbing store, they just want to deliver. They don't want you coming into the location. They just want to deliver. Same with the drywall I was just talking about. They want to deliver. They don't want you coming in. So if they're an hour away, you don't care. You're paying the same amount of money for them to deliver, whether they're an hour away or 10 minutes away. And you're working all over the place, so that's going to change all over the place. It doesn't really, if you can get ironed out a delivery system, then that works out great. The next thing you want to do is compare prices. It might not be worth it to shop at these specialty stores. When it comes to specialty stores, one of the things you want to realize is you want to buy things that they specialize in and not buy things that they don't specialize in. My plumbing store is getting into electrical supply, but it's still cheaper for me to buy electrical supplies at my box store than it is at my plumbing supply house because their prices are that much higher, and they're coming down real hard, and it's going to change here shortly, which I'm super happy with. But for instance, a roll of Romex in 12.2, say, is about, I can get, 250 feet roll at the box store for $50-$60, somewhere in there. Any supply house you go to, it's going to be over $100, $120. The hardware store is going to be. So that gets into how the store makes money. And what the big box stores do, especially the orange one, is they buy common items in bulk. They buy large amounts of common items, and they push those common items. So if you are buying, for instance, if you're buying lumber or other building materials at the box store in large quantities, you're losing massive amounts of money. If you're buying one or two because you're already there, then that's a little different. It's not worth it to drive out of your way to go to another store to buy two 2x4s because they're 20 cents cheaper. That doesn't make sense. But generally speaking, building materials at the box store, it's no go. They're more expensive, they're junk, they're lower quality, etc., etc., etc. Right, same goes for tools. If you're buying tools at the box store, that's fine, to each his own, whatever. But if you buy them from an actual tool store, you're getting a completely different tool. Trust me, it's a different tool, it's a different quality. It's serviceable, whereas the one at the box stores, usually they're not very serviceable. The box store is buying large amounts of quantity, and that's how they get their prices down. And so they push those prices. But once you're in there, if you need a widget that they don't commonly sell, you're going to pay a lot more for it as opposed to going to a supplier. Plumbing supplies in my area are way cheaper for me to go to my plumbing supplier. Like I said, if I need one 90-degree elbow because I miscalculated something, then it's cheaper just while I'm already at Home Depot to just go grab that. So minimize your time at the big box store. So what I usually do for shopping is I make a prioritized list, mostly in my head, of what I need. And what that means is I'm going to go to my plumbing supplier once for this job. I'm going to go to my electrical supplier once for this job. I'm going to go to the lumber yard once for this job. I'm going to get everything I need in one trip. I'm going to make sure that I have a complete list of everything that I need for this job. If you're doing small 1 day, half day, 1 hour jobs, it's going to work out a little bit differently. It might be worth it if you're doing a small repair job just to go to Home Depot and get the one thing from each trade that you need, the one outlet, the one outlet box, the one piece of drywall. Like I said, that's a little bit different. And I do go to the box stores. I do spend time there. I do spend quite a bit of money there. But I'm trying to minimize the amount of time that I spend there because I know that every dollar I spend there is about 10 or 20% overmarked depending on what it is. In my location right now, electrical supplies, like I said, they're cheaper at the box store. But that can change, so you got to keep up on it. Understand how each store makes profit. The plumbing supply store pushes plumbing supplies. Their plumbing supplies are going to be cheaper as a general rule. Buy those there. Don't buy blades, expendables at the plumbing supply store. They're going to be twice or three times the price of a store that sells blades. We have a store called Fastenal in our area, which is a hardware slash expendable, essentially, supply company. They sell safety equipment. They sell blades, all kinds of blades. They sell tools. They sell specialty hardware, common hardware. They sell all kinds of, those expendable things. And so buying that there in bulk ahead of time is a good idea. And that's the last thing, is buy your stuff in bulk. Even if you're doing, especially, really, let me be clear on that, especially if you're doing small half-hour, one-day jobs. Don't go to the hardware store every time you need a drywall screw and buy a 1 pound thing of drywall screws and work your way through that thinking that you're saving money. You are not saving money. You're not doing yourself a favor. Go to the drywall supplier, whether it's the lumber yard, and buy a big, huge 25, 50, whatever pound box of drywall screws. And every time you need them, go into your own shop and buy them. You're going to save an uncalculable amount of money by doing that. There are some things you can't really do that with, but especially hardware, buy it in bulk. Man, I buy my GKR screws in bulk. I buy them at the biggest bulk I possibly can, and I've got boxes and boxes at the shop, and I don't have to, on every job, micromanage every single nut and bolt for that job. Screws, you can't really do that with, paints. Caulk, you can a little bit. Buy caulk by the case. Buy a case of Alex Painter's caulk. Buy a case of clear silicone. In my experience, it's the best way to do the caulk is by white Painter's caulk and clear silicone, 100% silicone. Buy it by the case. You're going to save almost $1 a tube by buying it by the case instead of by the tube every time you need it. But there's all kinds of things that are like that when you're buying materials. Anything that you can buy in bulk, if you're doing a big drywall job and you need 20 sheets of drywall for this job, buy 30 sheets and stick the extra sheets at the shop, so every time you need some drywall, you don't have to spend 20 to 40 extra cents a square foot on a piece of drywall because you're going to the box store to buy it. It's common sense in a way, but the big thing is just understand how each store makes money and then take advantage of that. And that's the big thing. And like I say, my area is a certain way. Your area is probably a little bit different. You might not have the option of supply houses, or maybe you do and you just don't know it. Look around, see what's available, see if they deliver. I know I keep on talking about the plumbing supply house. I do a lot of bathrooms, so I'm very up on that. But with the plumbing supplies, I go to my plumbing supplier and talk about buying in bulk, and I buy 30 90s, 30 street 90s, and I have a tub at the shop of all of these supplies, so every time I need a supply, I don't have to go and buy it, and I just go in my shop and grab it, and that saves you money over time. And so make that initial investment on those small things. Outlet boxes, nail-on boxes. I've got a case of those. I will probably never have to buy one in the next 10 years. One thing I just ran out of, hardy board screws. If you're doing a big tile job, you're going to buy a case, buy 2 cases. And then you have them when you need 12. Instead of having to go out and buy a small case, what are they, like $25 for a case, and you're doing a small tile repair where you need a couple of hardy board screws, and now you have a $25 line item on a job that's worth $100. Your material budget was just blown right there. Boom, done. buy these things in bulk as best you can. Go on Amazon or some other online store, whatever, and buy stuff in bulk. It's cheaper. Buy it there. It's however you want to do it. Whatever your values are as far as you know companies like that, and big companies, whatever it is, buy the stuff in bulk for that stuff. But learn how your local stores and sub-local stores make money, and just take advantage of it. You're just being savvy. And the bottom line is the less money you spend on materials, the more of that money goes over to the profit line. And when that money's going over the profit line, you're making more money at the end of the year. And that's all there really is to it. It's not that difficult. It's just a matter of doing your own research and figuring it out for yourself and understanding how it works. And then don't micromanage it. If you are short on 90-degree elbow and you're putting a tub together, don't drive 20 minutes out of your way to get an elbow. Go to the box store. You're going there anyway for a tube of caulk that you forgot at the shop. You know, you go ahead and do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't go out of your way to save pennies. Just don't micromanage it. Just make sure that you understand how to micromanage it, and then don't. And that's basically the way that you're going to operate your company most efficiently. Don't waste your time saving pennies. Make the money. Make money.